What a woman does with her body hair is nobody else's goddamn business.
Thank you.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Quick Drag. Today is our profile from our drag artist co-host of the week. It's Lilith Fair. Hey, Lilith.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Such a pleasure. So today we're going to talk about you. Hopefully it's something you know a little bit about.
I've read up on me, yeah.
Good, great. Tell me about how you came to the name of Lilith Fair.
So Lilith Fair is a music festival celebrating women in the music industry, created by Canadian icon Sarah McLachlan and started in the 90s. And I've always considered myself an ally to women, and I do a lot of live singing shows. And so it felt like a good match for me. And also, it's also lightly based on Lilith, from the Zohar, which is a Jewish mysticism text. Lilith was the first wife of Adam before Eve, and they were created in the same way in the Garden of Eden. Because they were created in the same way, Lilith demanded equality amongst the sexes, and because God is a misogynist, he said, nope.
Interesting.
It's feminism, it's based on rebellion, it's based on music, it's based on celebrating women, and I think that drag at its best celebrates women.
Absolutely. So on your YouTube channel, you play various characters. We've got Lilith, of course. We've got Jane Mansfield. We've got Satan. We've got Natasha Lyonne. We've got an advice columnist named Diane. We've got a wig head named Susan. We're playing lots of characters here. Which character would you say is the most fun to play?
Right now, there's sort of two different Liliths. There's interview Lilith, where I'm just being sort of free and easy, but then there's the more theatrical version of Lilith, which sounds a little bit more like this. And it's more inhalation, old movie, Hollywood style. And I think that more theatrical Lilith is perhaps my favorite, just because it was the first one.
All your characters are incredible, by the way. If you have the opportunity, which you do, go to Lilith's YouTube page. There is really, really great content there.
Thank you so much.
But in addition to being a talented character, you're also a very talented writer. How important is it for you to be able to combine your different talents into one kind of offering, I guess?
Very important. And I think that drag is the best art form for being able to combine every potential talent that you have, because drag is an art form which celebrates art. It's theater, it's makeup, it's dance, it's singing, it's comedy, it is so many things in its base form that it welcomes you to try things like that. And I was an actor and a writer before I started doing drag, and I think when you start doing drag, the most important thing is to figure out what it is about you that makes you special to the community as a whole. What can you bring that other people don't do? What makes your drag necessary? What makes it mandatory for clubs and venues to want to book you specifically? So I think it's incredibly important to do everything that you're passionate about in your drag.
Do you see drag as political, and if so, in what way?
Absolutely. I think that drag, more so than any other art form on earth, raises its middle finger to societal expectations of gender presentation and the binary that is placed upon us and what average people consider to be acceptable for masculine presentation, for feminine presentation, not allowing room for there to be anything other than the stereotype. And drag takes that energy, crumples it up into a little ball, and throws it back in the face of the people that think that way. Drag is essential in the current political landscape, because as the world becomes more conservative, it's up to us to be gayer than ever.
Obviously, COVID has put a damper on some things, but what would you say are your hopes for drag in the next year?
Well, I've been working on a series of scripts for a television series that I'm working on, that I'm hoping to pitch to a couple of different stations. The big dream is CBC, a series called Busted, which is about a young actress, played by myself, who lives with her mother, and she gets cast on a soap opera that's sort of a parody of The Young and the Restless. My very good dear friend from season 2 and All Stars 1, Pandora Box, has suggested that she would be interested in playing my mother if we got picked up for pitch meetings. So hopefully that works out.
We're going to move into a segment called Quick Drag. These are quick rapid fire answers. If you could give me the first thing that comes to your mind. Who is your favorite Drag Race contestant of all time?
Bob the Drag Queen.
If you were on Snatch Game, who would you portray?
Natasha Lyonne.
What is your favorite Sarah McLachlan song?
Angel.
Who is your favorite artist to lip sync to?
Myself.
What's the one makeup item you can't do without?
Wet n Wild loose highlighting powder.
Yeah. What is your favorite Drag Race catchphrase?
Oh, that's so impossible to do in this mask.
Who is your favorite celebrity of all time?
I mean, my immediate answer was Jennifer Tilly.
Excluding yourself, who would you say is the best local drag artist?
I am originally from Edmonton, so I'll give you a Calgary and I'll give you an Edmonton.
Perfect.
My current favorite Calgary queen, I mean, an eye for an eye, I'm gonna say Mona Moore. I love queens that don't do what I do, and I love pageant drag, and she's so polished and so beautiful and so kind. And then from Edmonton, that would be my ultimate best friend of all time, the one and only Chelsea Horrendous, the most punk rock girl in the country.
Cool. I love it. There is one last question that I ask every co-host, and that is, what makes Canadian drag so damn good?
I think that Canadian drag is so damn good because for the longest time there was no pressure of this show. So I am interested to see how the show influences the communities across the country as a whole, but because there was no pressure, there was kind of no expectation. So it was kind of okay to just do whatever you wanted and to be celebrated for doing whatever you wanted and for embracing any weird thing that you wanted to do or just being as polished and beautiful as you wanted to be. And I see communities across the country embracing all forms of drag, not just cis men pretending to be women, but drag kings and drag monarchs, like genderless expression of drag, which is also so valid and exciting, and hyper queens, hyper kings. It's exceptional because it's everything, and we have a kindness about us which benefits us because it creates a community of support, which further encourages people to experiment, and you don't get anywhere without experimentation.
That is a great answer. Thank you so much. That does bring us to the end of our interview, but be sure to come back on Saturday when we will have our review of episode 7 of Canada's Drag Race. Thanks so much for watching Quick Drag. If you enjoyed what you saw, hit the subscribe button over there, click on our social media links in the description below, and be sure to come back on Saturday for a review of episode 7 of Canada's Drag Race with a brand new drag artist co-host.